My phone buzzed right as I was wrestling a runaway shopping cart back into the corral outside Fry's. It was one of those Arizona evenings where the sun finally clocks out, but the heat stays behind like an unpaid intern. A text popped up from a number I hadn't seen in months. "Can we talk?" I just stood there with a bag of tortilla chips tucked under my arm, staring at that message like it was a parking ticket from the past. Because here's the thing. When someone leaves you with a neat little line like, "We're different people," they don't usually circle back later like, "Hey, quick question. Can I borrow your piece again?" I didn't reply. Not yet. I slid the phone into my pocket, pushed the card into place, and drove home with that text rattling around my head louder than the AC in my old Ford. If you're thinking this is going to be a calm, mature story about two adults realizing they want different things, keep that optimism. You'll need it for the next 5 minutes. Her name was Madison. Maddie when she was in a good mood. Madison when she was mad, which, statistically, was most of the time. The met in Phoenix. I was working days at a logistics office near Tempe, the kind of place where you learn to love spreadsheets and hate printers. She was doing the "I'm going to figure my life out" thing, bouncing between a couple part-time jobs, always with some dramatic reason why the last place didn't deserve her. First time we talked, she smiled at me like I was the answer to a question she hadn't asked yet. "You look like you're responsible," she said. "That's the nicest insult I've ever gotten," I told her. She laughed. I like her laugh. It made you think she was having fun in the world, not just in her head. I didn't know yet that she treated conflict like it was a hobby. At the beginning, everything was easy. We did tacos on Roosevelt Row, late-night drives with the windows down, weekend Target runs where she'd throw random stuff in the cart like she was stocking a fallout shelter. And I don't know, soft with her. Gentle. I don't mean weak. I mean I actually care how my words landed. If she was quiet, I asked, "You okay?" If she was annoyed, I tried, "Talk to me." If she was upset, I didn't try to win. I tried to fix it. That sounds normal, right? The funny part is, that was exactly what drove her crazy. One night, early on, we were in my apartment kitchen. She had her arms crossed, staring at the fridge like it had betrayed her personally. "You don't get mad," she said. "I get mad. I just don't do the yelling thing. That's not normal." "What's normal?" "Screaming because someone bought the wrong almond milk." She rolled her eyes hard enough to see her own brain. "No, I mean, you're too calm. It's like you don't care." I leaned on the counter. "Madi ikare. I just don't think volume equals love." She scoffed. "Sometimes I need you to, I don't know, fight for it." "Fight who?" "You." She didn't answer. She just grabbed her purse and left the room like my sentence had pushed her physically. That was the first time I noticed something. She wasn't looking for peace. She was looking for sparks. She wanted a relationship that felt like a reality show, and I was out here trying to build something you could actually live inside. A lot of our arguments started over nothing. Not even small things. I mean imaginary things. Like the time we went to a barbecue at my coworker Denise's house. It was a normal Saturday. Burgers. Kids running around. A dog stealing chips. Pure American peace. On the drive home, Madison was quiet, staring out the window. "You good?" I asked. Denise doesn't like me. I almost swerved from confusion. "What?" "Denise loves everybody." She looked at me weird. She looked at you for like half a second. Maybe she was thinking about ketchup. Madison turned to me like I'd committed a crime. "See? This is what you do. You dismiss me." "I'm not dismissing you. I'm trying to understand what I'm supposed to do," with she looked at me weird. "You could have defended me." From a look? Yes. I blinked. "Maddie, are we in a medieval village? Do I challenge her to a duel at dawn?" "Don't be sarcastic." I laughed once, couldn't help it, then tried to pull it back. "Okay, I am soda. Tell me what you want." She crossed her arms. "I want you to care." "I do care." "Then act like it." "Ow!" She stared at me like the answer was obvious, and I was just refusing to be dramatic on purpose. Then she sighed and said the sentence I started hearing a lot. "Never mind." That, "never mind," was her favorite trapdoor. She'd drop it and disappear emotionally, leaving me holding a conversation that had no ending. My friend Marcus clocked her fast. Marcus is one of those guys who can tell you the exact year a movie came out, but also somehow reads people like a therapist. We were at a sports bar in Scottsdale one night, just watching a game, eating wings, living the simple life. Madison was with us, scrolling on her phone like the world owed her better entertainment. Marcus leaned in and murmured to me while Madison went to the restroom. She always mad at something. I lower my voice. She's intense. Marcus smirked. That's a polite word. You're like a golden retriever dating a cat that hates joy. Don't start. I'm not starting. I am noticing. Big difference. I sighed. She's got stuff. Everybody's got stuff. But you look tired, man. That was the first time someone said it out loud. I was tired. Not from work. Work was predictable. Work had rules. Work didn't accuse you of not defending me because you blinked wrong. The breaking point came on a Tuesday because of course it did. Tuesdays are allergic to happiness. I gotten home late. We'd had a shipment issue and my boss, Ray, had the emotional range of a stapler. I walked into my apartment and found Madison sitting on the couch with her shoes on, purse in her lap, like she was waiting for a ride share. Hey, I said, everything okay? She smiled, but it wasn't warm. It was that smile people use right before they tell you your haircut is a mistake. We need to talk. I sat down across from her. All right. She took a breath like she was about to announce a new law. I don't think this is working. My stomach dropped, but I kept my voice steady. Why? She started listing things like she'd rehearsed them in the mirror. We're different people. You're safe. You're routine. You don't push me. I don't push you into what? Into life. Into excitement. Histoire de hair. We went hiking last weekend. That's not what I mean. What do you mean? She leaned forward. I need someone bolder. Bolder. I repeated, like tasting the word. Okay. What does that look like to you? Someone who doesn't just sit there and try to make everything smooth. Someone who has edge. I nodded slowly. So me being respectful is a problem. She threw her hands up. You're doing it again. Making me the bad guy. I'm not. I'm just trying to understand. She looked away. I'm not happy. That sentence hit harder than the rest because it was simple. Hard to argue with. Hard to fix. I took a breath. If you're not happy, what do you want to do? Her eyes flicked back. I think we should end it. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I just sat there, hearing my own heartbeat, realizing she'd already left this relationship in her head weeks ago, and I was just finding out now. Is there someone else? I asked. She rolled her eyes. Of course you'd ask that. It's a fair question. No, it's not about that. It's about me needing more. I nodded. Okay. She blinked like she expected me to perform. That's it? Okay. What do you want me to do? Hold the door shut while you push. She stood up, angry again. See? You're passive. I'm not passive, I said, still calm. I'm just not going to punish you for making a choice. That seemed to bother her more than anything. She grabbed her purse. I knew you wouldn't fight. I looked at her. I'm not going to fight you into staying. She stared for a second, like she was waiting for a dramatic speech. Then she walked out. The door clicked. That was it. No music. No slow motion. Just my living room and the hum of the fridge, like the apartment didn't even care. And I remember thinking, right then, I have no idea what's coming next. I thought the hard part was the breakup. I didn't realize the hard part was everything that happened after people started talking. For the first couple weeks, it was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet where you hear the building's pipes and start thinking they're judging you. Marcus called. You alive? Yeah, I said. I'm just existing. Come out, he said. We'll get food. You'll stare at a menu for 10 minutes and pick the same thing you always pick. That sounds thrilling. He laughed. Exactly. Stable. Unlike your ex. I didn't respond to that. I wasn't ready to laugh at it yet. At work, Denise gave me that look people give when they're trying not to be obvious. You okay? She asked, sliding a stack of papers onto my desk. Yeah. She tilted her head. You don't look okay. I shrugged. I'm fine. She lowered her voice. I heard she moved out fast. I glanced up. You heard. Denise sighed. Office ears. Not my favorite thing. But yeah, people talk. I hated that. Not because it was surprising. Because it made the breakup feel public. Like my private mess had been posted on a bulletin board. A couple days later, Ray wandered by my desk with his coffee and said, like he was commenting on the weather, "Plenty of fish." I just stared at him. He nodded like he'd done something helpful and walked away. I wanted to follow him and ask, Ray, Have you ever had a feeling in your life? But I kept my job instead. Then came the social media part. I didn't stalk her. I'm not that guy. But friends would send me things like they were delivering bad news. Marcus texted, "You sitting down? Europa?" He sent a screenshot. Madison, dressed up, smiling too hard, standing next to some guy with a sharp haircut and an arm around her like he owned the photo. Caption, "New adventures." I stared at it for a long time. Not because I missed her. Not exactly. It was more like, I couldn't believe how fast she replaced me like a phone upgrade. Marcus called right after. "You see it?" "Yeah." "You good?" I exhaled. I'm not going to lie and say I'm happy about it. "Of course you're not. He looks like he sells motivational courses." Marcus snorted. "He looks like he argues with baristas." I laughed, and it surprised me. It wasn't a joyful laugh. It was the laugh you do when something is so ridiculous you can't hold it in. Bolder, I muttered. "What?" "Nothing." A month went by. Then two. I did the boring healing stuff. Gym after work. Meal prepping like I was training for a competition I didn't sign up for. Sleeping more. Drinking coffee like it was a personality. One night, my neighbor Mr. Alvarez caught me in the hallway while I was carrying groceries. "You okay, kid?" he asked. He called everybody kid, and he was like 60, so he had the right. "I'm good." He nodded at my bags. "You got enough food for the whole building." I got dumped. "I'm coping with chicken breast." He laughed, then got serious. "Better to have peace than noise." That hit, because he didn't say better to have love or better to find someone else. He said peace, like he lived long enough to know peace is its own kind of wealth. I started noticing something. My apartment felt lighter. Not empty, lighter. No sadenakiasashens. No, never mind. No random silent treatments, because I didn't guess the right emotion. The sadness was still there, but it was clean sadness. It wasn't chaos. And that's when I started improving, almost by accident. Ray noticed. One afternoon, he leaned against my cubicle wall and said, "You've been sharp lately." "That's because I'm not fighting with anyone about almond milk," I said. He didn't laugh because Ray's face only has two settings, serious and slightly more serious. But he nodded like that made sense. Denise told me, "You seem more like yourself." Marcus said, "Look at you, glowing, like a man who sleeps." I told him, "Don't make it weird." Around month 3, I stopped thinking about Madison every day. Then, on a random Thursday, Marcus called while I was in the gym parking lot. "You're not going to like this," he said. "What now?" She called Jenna. Jenna called me. Apparently, Madison's been complaining about her new guy. I paused. Complaining how? Marcus sighed. Like he's intense. Always checking where she is. Always asking who she's with. Gets loud. I frowned. So she found... Yeah, Marcus said. Turns out Edge sometimes comes with other features. I didn't feel happy about it. I didn't feel satisfied. I just felt tired. "Why are you telling me?" I asked. "Because she might try to reach out," he said. "I can feel it in my bones." "Your bones have a busy life." "I'm serious," he said. "Just be ready." I thought I was ready. I wasn't. That's why, when my phone buzzed outside the grocery store with "Can we talk?" it felt like a movie I didn't buy a ticket for. I went upstairs to my apartment, put the groceries away, sat down at the kitchen table, and stared at the phone like it was going to start talking on its own. I called Marcus. "She texted," I said. Marcus didn't even ask who. "Yup. What do I do?" "You want the honest answer or the supportive answer?" "Try both." The honest answer: you don't owe her anything. The supportive answer: you still don't owe her anything. I rubbed my face. What if she's in trouble? Marcus paused. Then she should call people who are in her life. You're not her life anymore. That was blunt, but it was true. Still, I couldn't fully ignore it. Not because I wanted her back. Because I'm not wired to slam the door on someone who's asking for help. So I replied with one sentence. "Sure. What's up?" 3 dots appeared immediately, like she'd been holding her breath for months. "Can we meet?" "Just for 10 minutes. I stared at the screen. 10 minutes. That's what people say when they want an hour. I typed, "Coffee shop on Mill Avenue tomorrow after work." 6:30. She responded, "Thank you." That thank you felt weird, like she was talking to a stranger. The next day, I got there early. I picked a table near the window because I didn't feel like getting cornered in the back. I ordered an iced coffee. The barista wrote my name wrong in a creative way. Something like John, which honestly helped. It was hard to spiral emotionally while holding a cup that looked like it belonged to someone else. Madison walked in at 6:41. She used to walk like she owned the room. This time she walked like she was hoping nobody saw her. She spotted me and hesitated, then came over. "Hey," she said. "Hey," I replied. She sat down slowly. She looked different. Not physically, just quieter, like someone had turned down her volume. "I didn't know if you'd come," she said. I said I would. She nodded. "Right. You always do what you say." I sipped my coffee. "What's going on?" She stared at her hands, then finally looked up. "I messed up." I didn't react. Not because I was cold, because I didn't want to feed the moment with drama. She continued. "I've been wanting to talk for a while." "About what?" She swallowed. "About you. About us. About me being an idiot." I leaned back a little. "Okay." She blinked. "That's all you're going to say?" "I'm listening." She pressed her lips together like she was trying not to cry. "But I'm not going to make it poetic." She looked tired. Real tired. Like she hadn't had a calm night in a long time. "My new boyfriend," she started. I didn't ask his name. I didn't want it. She said it anyway. "Kyle." Of course it was Kyle. I don't know why. It just fit. She took a breath. "He's not who I thought he was." I raised an eyebrow. "How so?" She spoke faster now, like if she slowed down, she'd lose the courage. "He needs to know where I am all the time. If I'm 5 minutes late, he calls. If I don't answer right away, he keeps calling. If I go out with friends, he wants pictures. Like proof. He gets mad over nothing. Histoire de hair. Pictures?" She nodded quickly. Like, "Show me who you're with." It's insane. I didn't say "I told you so." Not because it wasn't available. Because it wouldn't help. She looked at me, eyes wide. "And he yells. All the time. Over stupid stuff. If dinner is late, if traffic is bad, if I don't laugh at his jokes. It's like he needs a reason to be angry." She stopped, breathing like she'd run upstairs. I kept my voice even. "Why are you telling me this?" Her face crumpled into frustration. Because you were never like that." I nodded once. "No." She leaned forward. "You were good to me." I didn't flinch. I tried. "No," she insisted. "You were dash." I didn't appreciate it. I looked out the window for a second. A couple walked by holding hands, arguing about where to eat like it was the biggest problem on earth. I almost envied them. Madison's voice got smaller. I thought I wanted someone brave. Someone bold. I thought calm meant you didn't care. I turned back to her. I cared. I just didn't want us living in a constant argument. Her eyes filled. I know. There was a long pause. She wiped her cheek quickly, like she was embarrassed by her own face. Then she said it. "The reason she came. I want to come back." I didn't answer right away. Not for dramatic effect. For accuracy. I wanted to say the right thing and not something that would haunt me later. "Madison," I said carefully. "Why?" She looked hopeful, like a person holding out a plate and praying it gets filled. "Because I miss you," she said. "Because I made a mistake. Because I feel like I threw away the best thing I had." I nodded slowly. "Okay." Her eyes lit up for half a second. "Okay." I held up a hand. Not okay like yes. Okay like I hear you. Her face fell. "So you don't want to fix this?" I shook my head once. "No." She stared. "Why?" I kept it simple. "Because when you left, you didn't just leave. You made it sound like who I am is the problem. Like being steady is a flaw." She opened her mouth, then closed it. I continued. "And in the last few months, I realized something. Life got quieter. I started sleeping. I started doing better at work. I stopped second-guessing every sentence. I don't want to go back to walking on eggshells." She winced. I wasn't. I raised my hand again. "You were. Maybe you didn't mean to be, but you were." She looked down. I added, "And I'm sorry you're dealing with Kyle. I truly am. But you coming back because you don't like what you chose, that's not love. That's panic." Her shoulders slumped. She whispered, "So that's it?" I nodded. "That's it." She looked up sharply. "You're just going to leave me like this?" I stayed calm. "I'm not leaving you. You're sitting in a coffee shop. You have friends. You have family. You have options. I'm just not your option." Her jaw tightened. "You're being cold." I gave a small, tired smile. "I'm being clear. There's a difference." She stared at me like she wanted me to crack. Like she wanted a big speech. Like she wanted me to be the old me who would twist himself into knots to keep the peace. But the new me didn't want peace at any price. He wanted peace that was real. Madison's voice shook. I can change. I nodded. I hope you do. For your own life. She blinked. That sounds like a goodbye. It is. She swallowed hard. So what am I supposed to do? I kept it practical. Talk to people who are close to you. Make a plan. Don't be alone with someone who makes you feel small. And stop romanticizing chaos as passion. She flinched at that last part because it was true. She whispered, "You're not even angry." I shook my head. I was. For a while. But anger is heavy. I put it down. She stared at the table, then finally said, "I didn't know it would be like this." I stood up, gently pushing my chair in. "I didn't either," I said. "Back then, I thought losing you was the worst thing that could happen. Turns out, it was the first quiet day I'd had in a long time." She looked up at me, eyes wet, face pleading. Remember the line she used when she left? The one she thought was clean and mature? "We're different people." She said it again now, barely audible, but this time it sounded like regret. "We are," I agreed. I hesitated, then added the only kindness I could give without reopening the door. "I wish you luck, Madison." Then I walked out. No big scene. No shouting. Just me stepping into the warm Phoenix evening, feeling my chest tighten for a second, and then loosen, like it finally remembered how to breathe on its own. She texted me that night. "Please, just talk to me." I didn't answer. The next morning, "I miss you." I didn't answer. 2 days later, "Are you really doing this?" Still nothing. It wasn't punishment. It wasn't a game. It was a boundary. A simple one. I wasn't going back. Marcus called me that weekend. So he asked. "We met," I said. And I wish her luck." Marcus let out a low whistle. "Look at you. Grown. Don't make it weird," I said. He laughed. "How you feel?" I looked around my apartment. The place was clean. Quiet. My week was planned. My mind wasn't bracing for a random argument about nothing. "I feel calm," I said. "That's your answer," Marcus replied. "Hold on to it." A couple months after that, Ray pulled me into his office. I sat down, already mentally preparing for a lecture about deadlines. He slid a folder across the desk. "You've been consistent," he said. "I try." He nodded. "We're moving you up. Small raise. More responsibility." I opened the folder and stared at the numbers like they might disappear if I blinked. "Thanks," I said. Ray stood up like the meeting was over. "Don't make me regret it." "I won't." When I got back to my desk, Denise smiled. "I heard." "Office ears," I said. She grinned. "You earned it." I texted Marcus, "Got a raise." He replied, "Proud of you. Go celebrate by buying almond milk." I laughed out loud in the middle of the office, and Denise gave me a look like, at least it's a happy breakdown. I heard about Madison through the grapevine once. Not much, just fragments. Jenna said she moved apartments. Denise said she quit one of her jobs and started over somewhere else. Marcus said she's dealing with her life in the tone that meant, "Don't ask." And I didn't, because the lesson wasn't she got what she deserved. Life isn't a movie with neat endings and moral subtitles. The real lesson was simpler. She wanted bolder, and she learned the hard way that loud isn't brave. And I learned that being gentle doesn't mean being available forever. Sometimes the most respectful thing you can do, for both people, is close the door without slamming it. That night outside the grocery store when that "Can we talk?" popped up, I thought it would drag me back into the past. Instead, it showed me I'd already walked out of it. I still buy my own groceries. Still drive my old Ford. Still work too much. Still laugh at dumb texts from Marcus. But now my life feels like mine. And if Madison ever texts again, I hope she finds what she's actually looking for. Just not in my inbox.